Search in video, name and address. The two mistakes: an officer steps in front of you on the pavement at your own front gate, coming out of a shop, and says 4 words, "Name and address, please." And in the next 10 seconds, you are going to do one of two things. You're either going to handle it calmly on the right side of the law and walk away, or you're going to make one of the two mistakes almost everybody makes here and turn a nothing encounter into a real problem. Because here's what nobody tells you. Most people hand over far, far more than the law actually requires. Their name, their address, where they've been, where they're going, the whole story, because they assume they have to. And a smaller group make the opposite mistake. They've half heard that you don't have to tell the police anything, so they fold their arms and refuse in a situation where they actually did have to give their details and they get arrested for it. Both of those people got the law wrong, and the single most useful thing I can teach you today is the exact line between the two. When you genuinely have to give your name in England and Wales when you absolutely do not, and the calm words that keep you on the right side of it every single time, stay with me because by the end of this, you'll never be caught out by name and address again. I'm Oliver Bennett. I'm a criminal defense solicitor here in England and Wales. And for 15 years, who I am, I've stood next to ordinary people at the worst moments of their lives, in police stations, in interview rooms, in the dock. And I'll tell you, the number of people I've watched get themselves into trouble over this one question, "What's your name?" would genuinely surprise you. Not criminals, ordinary, decent people who simply never got told where the line is. So let me be the one who tells you. Let me make it real because this happens exactly the way I'm about to describe it. Picture a man. Meet Tom. 2 ways to get it wrong walking home in the evening. Call him Tom. He's done nothing wrong. He's just walking. A police car pulls up, an officer gets out and says, "Evening, what's your name and where do you live?" Now, watch the 2 ways Tom can get this wrong. In the first version, Tom is nervous and eager to please, so he tells them everything, his name, his address. Then, because they keep talking, where he's just been, who he was with, why he's out, he's answered every question, volunteered a small mountain of information about himself, and handed the officer a complete picture, none of which he was under any obligation to give. In the second version, Tom's heard somewhere that he doesn't have to talk to the police. So he gets defensive and snaps, "I don't have to tell you anything, leave me alone," and marches off. And in some situations that Tom has just committed a criminal offense and is about to be arrested. Same question, 2 opposite mistakes. This video is so that you are neither Tom, so that you know calmly and exactly which situation you're actually in. So let's start with the rule that surprises almost everyone because it's the foundation of the whole thing. In England and Wales, there is no general, the default. No general power to demand your name power that forces you to give the police your name. Let me say that again slowly because people find it genuinely hard to believe. There is no law that says an officer can walk up to you in the street for no particular reason, demand your name and address, and require you to hand them over. We don't have what some countries call a stop and identify law. If an officer simply asks with no specific power behind it, you are in law perfectly entitled to politely decline to answer and to go on your way. Refusing to give your name on its own when no specific power is in play is not a criminal offense. That's the starting point. That's the ground you're standing on. Most people have no idea they're standing on it, and while we're here, let me kill off a myth that trips people up constantly because it sits right underneath this. There is no national the ID myth, no duty to carry ID identity card in this country, and there is no law that says you must carry identification on you as you go about your day. So if an officer says, "Show me some ID" in an ordinary street encounter, understand that outside the specific situations we're about to cover, you're not committing any offense simply by not having any on you, and you're not obliged to produce documents you're not legally required to carry. People hear ID and instantly feel guilty as though they've been caught out. You haven't. Not carrying a card is not a crime, and being unable to produce one on its own is not grounds for anything. Keep that in your back pocket too, because officers know most people don't know it. But, and this is the part you must get right because this is where people come unstuck that general freedom. The exceptions, when you must give your details, has specific exceptions. Carve,